Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy. We're nerds by nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Dave, and today we are joined by a bunch of nerds. We're going to be playing some 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. As we begin Dungeons and Delving, I will hand it over to our illustrious Dungeon Master,
Well,
Nerdarchist Ted.
hello. Well, hello, and have a hope you're having a wonderful day, evening, morning, whatever time it is where you are. Before we dive into our illustrious game, I'm gonna just kind of direct your attention to the description down below. Some friends of ours over at Easy Roller Dice are running a Kickstarter for some new amazing color shift dice trays. Go check them out. They're amazing people. Their dice are our kind of dice of choice. So give them a check out. Support them if you will. But without further ado, let's dive into some Dungeons and Delving. We are on, I believe, session 9. So we are getting more than 2/3 of the way into this campaign. Only a handful of sessions left. We'll see how the players manage to uncover clues, survive the dungeon, and see if they might be able to win some fabulous fame and prizes. So, as always, I'm going to toss it off to our players, let them say what happened last time, and then toss it to a player in turn. I got a 4. That is going to be Robin.
Okay, so we were in the dungeon last time and we almost TPK'd. There was like what was that thing? A banshee?
Yep.
And it just came at us and lots of people dropped. I didn't, and somehow we got back up and beat it because I cheated. I didn't mean to, but it was a fun time. Doug.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Tabitha, yes, we did the climb where she got to demonstrate her massive strength in climbing and with a boost from Nebula's jump spell. It was pretty cool. And while she was climbing ahead, what's that?
I wasn't the one that cast jump. That was somebody else.
Bert. Sorry. Tabitha came across a number of cryptic messages that only she could read with her eyes of the roomkeeper that both she and me were unable to interpret until I realized, it was probably that AI contacting us again, letting us know that we would have 5 questions to ask him, which we did when after we defeated the Banshee, as Nebula said. I've noticed my notes each session get progressively smaller, so my highlights from this one were I wrote, "Stupid Enzo, I was just about to kill that spectral monster." And Tabitha also wondered if she perhaps died in a previous competition and somehow set off some chain of events of what's going on with this craziness, but that's just because she's egotistical too. So that was what I remember, and I will pass it off to Burke.
Okay, so full disclosure, I totally realized I was super selfish and messed up. So Burke was riding hefty on this climb up last time. I did not realize at level 6 rangers get a climb speed now with that variant feature. So guess who was being selfish and had a climb speed and was not using it?
The hefty can ride you. Can ride on your back.
Yeah. So that happened. We climbed up this mountain. There were like shifting pieces and moving pieces, and it was terrifying. But that wasn't even the most terrifying thing, right? Because there was a banshee that came out and it wailed, and we like all failed except for Nebula and like just dropped like that. It was a whole to-do. So Nebula basically soloed the banshee until she got Tabitha up, and then Tabitha was like, "I'm gonna kill it." And then I kept dying because I'm just bad at things and keep dying, I guess. That's my new thing.
No, I cheated and used mass heal when everybody stood up. I was only there for 1 round by myself.
I was going to get up great. Anyway.
It was great. So yeah, we were like, we almost TPK'd. It was a whole to-do. Yeah, we used jump a little bit because that was fun. And that's it. Enzo.
So, I don't know if there's anything left. I think you guys covered everything that happened last session.
All except for the fact that, when you left the dungeon, there was that, AI program that you guys got to ask 5 yes or no questions or 5
Well,
questions.
Doug covered it. I mean, I don't remember what the questions were that we asked.
Yeah,
Remember
I
we did a
actually
lot
didn't
of.
remember.
Oh,
I didn't remember what the
we were
questions,
getting
so I
those
left it
clues
to-
too. We were getting clues that we were going to go see the II and
Yeah.
have 5 questions. I mean, we really didn't figure it out until we're like on our way there, so it didn't help us very much. But smarter and more intuitive adventurers it probably have been super useful for.
So you got through the dungeon, answered some or asked some questions of this AI program that I believe some of you, are still skeptical about. Others are, totally thinking that, this is there to aid you. You went back to the locker room, had some discussions amongst yourselves, and, learned some scores as to how everyone else proceeded through this round of the competition. So as you awake the next morning on what is to be yet another day off for the team, there is a note being left for Tabitha that says that you have an appointment at 10 a.m. Signed, Bill.
Okay. What time is it when I see this note?
How much of an early riser is Tabitha?
Boy, let's see. I don't know. I'll tell you. Early.
Early. All right. So
6 a.m.
So you're up, bright and early. So you've got hours worth of.
Do I even have to sleep?
Whatever.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm listening.
No, so you've got plenty of time to deal with whatever you want to do before you would have to go see what this is all about.
Is anybody else awake?
I'm gonna say Nebula's probably a no. Burke's a maybe. Enzo is hit or miss.
No way. Enzo would definitely be an early riser. Do you know how early you got to get up to be a chef? Especially if you cook pastries and stuff like that.
I don't think, you do normally do pastries and stuff, but I don't think that's your main gig, but I could be wrong.
Some people just do it really late at night and then get up and have all the stuff ready already.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what she'll do. So she gets this note, and she's going to go back in her room, and I'm going to try out a new thing. So I will spend 1 minute making chalk drawings in a circle around me on the floor, and focusing on her sword. And I'm going to cast Dream, and I am going to visit Nebula's dream. And let's see, they're on the same plane. I've never used this before, so I'm just checking. But I was like, I want to do something cool. So let's see. Is Nebula an elf? She's a half.
Eladrin.
Oh.
So, yeah, kinda.
Oh, okay. Well then, I do all that, and I try to enter your dream, and I am unable to.
So, Nebula is absolutely dreaming about a video game. So you find yourself in this really pixelated, brightly colored, very 80s cyberpunk area, and she's in her full-on idol outfit with the short skirt and the pink hair and headphones with the mic,
Okay.
and she's sort of DDRing in here and occasionally blowing balloons and stuff out of the sky. It's very arcade.
Okay. Well, then as she's playing DDR in her dream, a new level appears in the game, and there's the person you're playing against, or the game's opponent is Tabitha, and she's keeping up with you. And I'm gonna make a performance check to see how good she can actually. Oh, nat 20, so 24. 24 is really hard. Even in your dream, you're challenged by this incredible dance skills of Tabitha. But
God, this is a stress dream.
She's competing.
So you've got a 24 on your. What is Nebula's performance check?
Oh, okay.
All right.
That's off.
28.
All right. So, as you stated, Tabitha, you are keeping up with Nebula. but you are giving it your all. And Nebula's, she's not giving it her all, but she's also not just going through the motion.
Okay. So yeah, as I'll say, she's got some strange dreams, Nebula. I wanted to let you know that I received a message from one of the Bills to meet them at 10 a.m. I don't know what that's all about, but I just wanted to let somebody know.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought this would be a fun way to do it.
This is a really weird thing for you to be talking about while we're like doing this.
Well, it's your dream. Do you want to stop? I'm not going to throw the game as I'm like doing my fancy footwork.
Oh, shut up
I
and
can
fight
only
me.
operate in the paradigm of your dream, Nebula. Think of something else. I'm getting tired.
I'm just gonna roll to see if she realizes that she's dreaming at this point, because no, she's
Yeah,
just vibing.
all right. I'm going to make another performance check just to see what's going on. So, wow, 22.
Not
This is a
bad.
hard level. What do you think that could be? Why would one of the Bills want to see me?
I don't know. Maybe he thinks you're cute.
Well, that certainly sours things. Well then.
I know, right?
Yeah. Hopefully it's nothing litigious. Well, if you never see me again, that's where you can start looking.
Sure.
At one of these anomalous Bills.
And I will, let's see, dream actually lasts 8 hours, so I will try to, I will use, so like the Tabitha avatar stops dancing and just like, kind of fades back into the background and is replaced by a terrifying opponent that I will try to dream is better at dancing than me as I just wake up and leave you there.
All right. So what do you envision for Nebula?
It's like Seraphina, except like amped up to like 11.
Oh yeah,
like
definitely a
extra
stress
glamorous. Like
Amped up to Jessica Rabbit.
There's like an auto tune on her voice just enough to make it like that much more smooth and stuff like that.
All right. So go ahead and give me a performance roll there, Nebula, but at disadvantage.
Oh. That was my D12. 15.
All right. So
my DC is 16, if that means anything.
No, this was
okay, yeah, I know. I was just saying.
Kind of see
Yeah,
Nebula's waking mood when she comes out of her trance. So you put your gusto into this, knowing how much you despise Seraphina, but she is always kind of needled at you.
Wait a minute, Doug, did you literally use the nightmare version of Dream?
I mean, yes and no. I don't want to cause her psychic
It's a wisdom saving throw.
Hey, you know what? It's a day off, and
I'm not giving her any psychic damage. I'm giving her a little bit.
Technically, I would be giving her the psychic.
Yeah.
Sure. But I'm taking your liberty of putting in the nightmare version of Seraphina.
Yeah, right. That's it. Yeah.
So Seraphina outperforms you, in this level. So whenever you come to, you've kind of got a stress headache, and
I'm just mad at her for no reason.
You're definitely in a bad mood at this person that you already don't like.
That's the fuel. That's what's going to drive us to victory.
So add in whatever your typical Seraphina comments that she has needled against you in the past. This is what you get on the kind of the loop, the repeat play while she is winning in this competition. So Enzo, you say that you are up early. What is it that you are doing?
I'm making waffles. Homemade, down home, dwarven style waffles.
Are you
Hopefully
making
they're not
it
awful.
for just your crew or for any and all that ask?
Enzo always makes food for anyone that'll eat it.
So you will definitely have some takers from the various groups. Some people happen to be early risers and what have you. Some are just kind of happen to be around and like, yay, free grub. And you've clearly been here for a while, so there's definitely some reputation as to your cooking. Chef Bob apparently does not make an entrance, early, so you've got the kitchen to yourself. That's a Jorgen Flamefellow for those who are following along.
I might even do some fancy pancakes as well, where they look like people and stuff.
Oh,
Pancake art.
All right. Well, why don't you either make a cooking utensils roll? We'll go with dexterity, or performance dexterity. Your call.
All right.
I bet you there have been more cooking utensils checks on Nerdarchy channel than all other live stream D&D games combined.
So it's actually the same either way, right? So
Okay. Well,
roll a dex check. Oh, that's not good. I'm going to use my inspiration.
I was going to say we always do start with inspiration. So if how
oh my god, it got worse. It got so much worse.
Oh.
Oh, it got so much worse. So that was a 1.
Well, you take the better of the two rolls.
Yeah, the other one.
Hey, real quick, can I use one of her little side things?
Sure.
So, remember just a moment ago when I said it's Castle Dream, I was describing the components, and then halfway through I realized my focus is my talisman. But we can flip back to the night before. Perhaps Enzo and Tabitha were having a conversation and about and Enzo. I don't want to take liberties with you, but perhaps he was saying how maybe he felt a little not intimidated, but just like you wanted to be extra on point because your nemesis was here. So I will lend you my talisman.
That's a D4, right?
Yeah. If that's okay with you.
Oh.
So that brings it up to a 12.
That brings it up to a 12. All right, so
that D4 helped a lot.
Did it?
Yes.
What'd you roll?
A 4.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, cool.
So
the talisman, yo.
You do know that you when you roll with inspiration, you can take the higher number. You're not stuck with the 1.
Yeah, that's still the 12. I gave you the higher number.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, you've done this before, but with you doing the waffles and the pancakes at the same time, you totally like, oh, I got to pull these things out and what have you. So you're dealing with the waffles. So the pancakes don't come out quite as well as the imagery that you are trying to emulate. They don't look bad, but they don't exactly look like the people that you're trying to make happen.
Maybe you did put that batter in the waffle thing, so they're just like mangled faces.
But all in all, your food still tastes delicious, and while you're not getting the high praise from the folks sitting around for the art element of it, they definitely appreciate the deliciousness of it. What about Burke?
So I feel like Burke probably sleeps in until there's the smell of waffles and pancakes, at which point he's like immediately just sitting up in bed. And so he will go down with Hefty, who is a little bit harder to rouse, and like very eagerly and ready be there for those pancakes. Oh, hey there, Enzo. What you cooking?
Oh, we got some waffles and pancakes. Look, these pancakes here look just like, I kind of my voice drops a little bit sad, just like Hefty, because they don't look as good as they could look.
Well, those are much less fuzzy than Hefty. I think you're doing a great job.
Well, here's the stack for Hefty.
Oh, look, buddy, you get some pancakes. Look at that there. And I just like give him the stack as he begins devouring them heartily.
Very quickly.
They're wheat pancakes because I know Hefty's a vegetarian.
Oh, yes, he most certainly is. I think he'd be rather disturbed if I meat in his pancakes. I don't know of anybody that likes meat in their pancakes, actually.
Oh, you should like bacon or sausage. It's actually pretty good.
So you could have also gone potato, as Gantuans, definitely go for a lot of root foods.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's what their big claws are designed
Make
to
latkes for Hefty.
Ooh. Latkes are fun.
So what are the three of you doing while Nebula finishes her nightmare?
Oh my. Enjoying pancakes. Probably making small talk actually with whoever else showed up for the pancake business and the waffles and whatnot. Ooh, there's dice coming.
So
I'll hang out in there too, just black coffee though. Wait for my meeting.
So the first person that seems to kind of gather your attention, sitting at a table by himself, is the goblin from Team Displacer Beast Az.
Morning, ass.
And he's definitely eyeing up the food. Totally has a plate and a fork out, and when Enzo begins serving, he totally just kind of like steps up and gets into the line. Quite shocking, like totally waits for the group of Hefty, Tabitha, and Burke to get theirs first. It almost seems odd that he's being polite. Everything you've seen about him, and indeed with conversations you've had, he's an ass. This is a bit weird.
So he's just been like kind of quiet and respectful, or does he seem sullen?
He's been quiet.
Does he suspect? I want to see if I think that he thinks that we probably did some of these pancakes, and that's why we're feeding everybody. That's what I think.
Make an insight roll.
Okay.
Well, why would he get in line?
I got a 7 plus something. Let me see. What do I get for insight? That is a +3, so 10.
I mean, it's sound logic. Where's my D20? It's a hard read. I mean, he definitely does watch, the process, does watch Hefty snarf a handful of, pancakes and waffles, some bites, eaten by whichever of you two before he gets back to the table.
Well, when he kind of like gets in line and I'm like serving people, I want to like kind of lower my voice. Hey, Az, what's the deal with you and Tabitha? Do you guys know each other before?
Why? What has she said?
Well, I don't know. The other day you seemed like you had beef with her.
Is this between us?
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. I mean, I don't know any of my team. Like we just met, in the game. So I don't know what happened before.
She's dead, right?
Yeah, but she got better.
It doesn't usually work that way.
But
look,
she
hasn't said anything about me, right?
No, she didn't. She told us she died, but she got better. Like I didn't know she was dead until she told us. And I mean, she don't look dead anymore. She doesn't feel dead. I don't know. Are you like, I don't. She was dead, but now she's not dead. Maybe she's not really dead anymore. Yeah, like the Clocktors, they brought back what's his face, right? And he was dead, and then he wasn't dead.
Right. Well, that's not what she looked like before.
Should look different before.
There's like this moment where if he didn't have a plate with food and a fork in his hand, you'd think he was doing this, like blocking his face. But it's a goblin, so like the hand wouldn't cover the mouth anyway. Look, I should eat this before it gets cold. He just goes and sits down.
All right. That was weird. Kind of talking to myself.
So Nebula, you come to, I don't know how Nebula tends to do her trance, whether you actually lie down and relax, whether you do the whole kind of like seated pose thing.
Oh, I have like a big fluffy bedspread and like a dozen pillows and stuffed animals, and it's all like pink and purple. Like it's the works. And I'm sit up and I'm just stress dreams.
You just feel this band across as if somebody just kind of tightened a wire around your skull while you sleep. You can definitely feel that you've been sweating, and for just the briefest moments, you sure it was just hallucination, but it's like as you open your eyes and kind of like sit up, it looked like Serafina was like across the room.
If she's screwing with me, I bet they have a way to trace that. And I'm like muttering to myself as I go down to breakfast. Like, come down in my bunny slippers.
I'm Brand.
They have Bluetooth.
Your slippers?
Yes.
So you come down, you see that there's people are beginning to gather, but out of the door leading up to Shining Unicorn, Urzet's Bright Scale, the Dragonborn, kind of like steps through, and he's a bit tall, so he kind of like has to duck to get his horns through the 6-foot doorway. Looks around, and kind of takes everybody in. By now, there's somebody basically from every team that's kind of sitting at a table or kind of lounging on the couches that are there. Some avail themselves of the breakfast provided by Enzo. Others, would prefer just juices or the things that are in the cold box. What do you do, Nebula?
Gonna drag just zombie walk my carcass over to the table where my team is. I had the dumbest nightmare, and I'm literally going to die mad about this. Someone give me the orange juice.
What happened in it? You look like you're pretty flustered.
I was just playing DDR and minding my own business, and suddenly there she is.
Who?
Serafina.
What do I hear? As Serafina happens to come down the stairs.
I smile and tilt my head back, and I'm like, "Oh, I was dreaming about you."
Oh my! And she acts all flustered.
I wink.
Well, I know that we've had a rivalry, but I didn't realize it went in that direction.
Oh, didn't you?
Well, I'm happy to hear that I'm occupying even more of your thoughts.
Is that the only thing that happened in your dream?
No, it wasn't the only thing that happened in my dream. It's actually quite a cluster, and I'll tell you all about it later.
Yeah, it sounds really weird.
It was very weird.
Strange. Strange things afoot.
So Serafina, allows you to, do your breakfast thing as she rejoins her team.
I break the plastic fork I'm holding. They're just in one hand, like it just snaps between my
geez.
fingers.
Awesome. So at this point in time, Tabitha, you've had, at least your hour of rest,
Oh yeah,
short rest to be able to get your spell slot back.
that's right.
Most of the teams have gathered and people have begun to kind of collect. Most people have left armor and weaponry up in their actual rooms, but at this point in time, you guys have been together enough that there have been kind of groups that tend to stay together, groups that have formed like friend groups or friend cliques of like, oh, these people from this assortment of teams. You've understood that some people like to, just have conversations. Tristan definitely likes talking to people who have gone out and done things. Always seems to be kind of almost like an interview. Anytime somebody goes into story mode, it's always, how can I use this for the book, but not like in a grilling method, just kind of almost fun and jovial, but more what can I get out of this moment, than an actual genuine interest in the actual story. That the spider folk tends to Zorsrob tends to kind of hide up in the room or kind of linger in the corner, away from everyone else. They've definitely not into the collective, not even into the group, and not even into her team. It's definitely an element of I'm just gonna observe. I'm just gonna do my thing. But when you've actually seen the clips from their particular runs, she definitely supports her team and definitely does a good job with it. So any particular conversations any of you are looking to have as the majority of the groups have gathered?
So did we decide that we were going to have the this is what is going on conversation publicly, or did we decide we were going to corner one person in particular about that?
I don't think we made a decision. I think we were gonna split up and talk to people. Because we know that the two, it's one of the two teams that have been here. So I thought we were gonna like pair off and like one group go talk to one team that's been here and the other group go talk to the other team that's been here before.
You have about an hour before Tabitha has to leave for whatever this impromptu appointment is.
Well, Burke is totally going to like squint at the goblin across the table from him and be like, I bet you're not even really an ass. I bet it's all just a show you put on. You're probably really nice. And you just like to lean into the goblin stereotypes.
He totally makes a rude gesture at you.
I laugh.
I say there's stereotypes for a reason, Burke.
He's sitting there having a conversation, with a couple of the teammates, and you see this ear, because goblins have those super long ears. Just kind of like turns in your direction a little bit, doesn't even look, and just flips you off.
And Burke's like, oh yes, everybody has those fingers. I still won't change my mind. And he just like puckers and like sidles away.
I think you're winning him over, Burke. I think you got him where you want him.
Anybody else?
Was it the goblin that was spying on you, or was that the kobold before he died?
It was the goblin, I think.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a kobold and I got corrected.
Yeah,
That it was actually
it was
the goblin.
ours.
What's Chef Bob doing?
He has not come down yet.
Oh.
There's a handful that that have not joined the group as of just yet.
I will go over to Nebula and be like, "Hey, you're
Yes.
really good with all the tech things and finding things out.
Go on.
Can you find out what the deal is with Chef Bob and his alias and why he's here?"
Oh, what exactly do you want me to do in order to find that out?
Can't you hack his email or maybe? His
That's
social
where I
media?
thought you were going with this, and then I get on my phone and do that.
So go ahead and give me a tech check.
Dirty 20.
All right, dirty 20. So you definitely, kind of get in and you work for a little while and you definitely hit a handful of roadblocks. How long are you willing to go down this road?
Oh, the entire hour if I have to.
All right. So there's like a little bit more defense than you were expecting. But, this person is a little bit more famous than your competitor or your friend Enzo. So, maybe that's to be expected. But you get caught in this loop where it keeps trying to get you to do this one thing, and by the time you've broken through, another defense mechanism is able to come back in at you. So it takes the majority of the hour just to get into the actual if you're looking for email or whatever social media thing, but you wind up getting through. And so which one of the two are you after, social media or email?
I mean, email, because it's more likely to be private, and clearly he hasn't let this out to the public. And we all know that those social media accounts are using your data for things, so.
Sure. So you get into his email, and the only things in his inbox currently are essentially junk that has just come in today. He apparently is the kind of person that cleans and organizes things, but none of the subfolders beyond friends, family, that kind of stuff. None of them seem to make any kind of sense to you. They're weird sets of numbers and letters.
Am I still there?
Interesting. So encrypted?
It doesn't. It could be it does. It's not encrypted.
Like a
you know how
cipher.
you've got your subfolders that you can file things away in.
Mm-hmm.
Within your email, so that if I want to look at my Nerdarchy emails or my friend emails, you can link them that way. Well, that's what he's done.
Just in weird numbers and stuff, so that people won't know what to click on.
Got 75N2 and NE56, that kind of stuff.
So emails usually have a search function.
Yep.
I use the search function.
All right, what are you searching for?
I'm searching for Dungeons and Delving.
Okay. So you get a handful. You're going to say 7 emails that link to that particular search term. 2 of them, look like they, are a chain back and forth with the given, contact agent, talking about, we accepted your late application. It's being considered, all boring stuff. The second one, is the whole contract, very similar to what you received, all the NDA, all the the stuff that you had to fill out, all the things that you had to agree to, all seems to be here. The other 5, these are things that, um, he has shared 3 of them with, it looks like, some close personal friends of like, hey, can't really talk about it, but watch for the next season of Dungeons and Delving. Think you're gonna like it. It's definitely dated post post when you guys started, so it would definitely sync up with the timeline of when Skrick had died, and
Was
they
it
needed to
before
find a
that?
replacement. It was after that.
Oh, damn.
No anomalous things there, but you do see that there is one email to again another random character string, doesn't have a name, first or surname associated with it, where he totally spills the beans like, hey, I'm going to be on season X of the show, can't really wait, I'm super excited, they've already started, but I get to become a late contestant.
So I save those email chains instead of reading them immediately because I'm also going to search for Enzo and I don't want to be in that too long. So if I can find anything like on Enzo, I'll save that as well.
Sure. So you search, and there's only one email that comes up, and Enzo is only mentioned once,
Mm-hmm.
but he has. You find you if you read through that, you wind up finding that, he has got a bit of a nickname, if you will, of Chef Second Place, and it's only through reading this, a couple of times that throughout the rest of the email, it's just talking about second place, second place, second place. But at one point in time, he says the name Enzo, and following typical writing structures, it's the same person he's referring to, but it's the only one that Enzo is mentioned.
Okay, so then I will also search for Chef Second Place and save those instead of reading them immediately. And just for funsies, I'm gonna search my own name because I'm vain like that and I want to know what people think about me.
So there is what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to throw it to you. What does Chef Bob think about Nebula? I will allow you to put in whatever sub-story you want here. It could be nothing. It could totally be, an enamored crush, or anywhere in between.
He's bidding on memorabilia.
So we'll pause that and let Nebula think.
Oh, I didn't realize you were asking me. I thought you were asking Dave.
No.
no.
I'm throwing it to you, Nebula. This is.
Oh, he totally thinks I did it.
Thinks you did what?
Oh no, he wouldn't be emailing anybody about that. Never mind. No, he's just sus about me for some reason.
Okay. All right. So you've managed to gather some intel, download whatever data you're looking for, whatever you could slink away with, before you've got a chance to really discuss this as a group. You're frantically working with your device, and Tabitha gives the all right, I got to go. You begin heading off to your.
Did it say I had to go by myself?
It did not.
Oh. Do you guys want to go with me? Back up, or just I don't know what they want.
Well, I wouldn't mind coming with you if you want the backup, but if you would prefer, I can just send either David or Freddie with you.
Oh. Yeah, that's
and then we could just
interesting.
watch.
Okay.
I send Freddy.
I like that idea better. We can watch and heckle.
So then I snatch my talisman back from Enzo. Fine, I'll go by myself.
It's like Mystery Science Theater, but with security cameras.
So, when you leave the locker room, there's another orange shirt there. This guy happens to have a name on his lapel that says Ben.
Okay.
Good morning. Definitely young. Have not seen him before. I'm supposed to escort you to your meeting with Bill.
Lead the
It's a
way.
big sword.
It is.
This way.
Do you like it? Are you a fan?
Definitely intimidated when you troll
Oh,
this.
I'm not like trying to. I mean, I'm just, I'm not like trying to. But I do have an unsettling presence. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, you pulling forth a blade, even if you weren't directing it towards them, they definitely are unsettled.
Oh, okay.
This way, as they hop a good 5 feet in front of you.
All right, I'll follow.
They set a pretty good pace. You don't have to like run or anything, but it's definitely a hurried pace.
Okay.
You get to the the meeting with with due time and allowed, and you're there a bit early.
What is the rest of like where we're at? Like what is it, like just in a city, or I mean, is it like a studio sort of? Or
Yeah, it definitely gives you the
you don't have to get too
studio
into it. I
vibe.
was just curious.
Yeah, it's definitely a studio vibe. There's definitely this is in the big city, if you will.
Okay.
But once you guys come into the complex, it's pretty much to keep you contained. You're not going outside.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like a compound.
Right. This would allow you to kind of share things that would definitely ruin the show.
Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha.
But you're led into the room.
Mm-hmm.
Bill's like, "Oh, you're here early. That is excellent. Please have a seat."
Right. I'll lean my sword against the wall, sit down.
Ben closes the door behind you. It's a comfortable room. There's a handful of snacks, and there's some water that's there.
Is this the guy we met like the first day?
Yeah.
Bill? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But a lot of these people look alike, according to some of you. But it's the dude's human. So, and he pulls out a data pad, and he's like, "All right, look," and he like scrolls through a moment within the run that you guys had yesterday.
Okay. Climb.
And like the camera fixates on you.
Okay.
And like he's able to like kind of scroll the image, kind of like the 3-dimensional
pictures. Sure.
And like he shows like you guys are climbing, and at that point in time, like you look up ahead, and it looks like you're looking at something, and clear as day, you can read, even through the picture, that it says, it will happen again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll point that out. So yeah, that was the first time I saw it. It was a message that said it will happen again.
What will happen again? And like he scrolls it like a minute or two ahead, where you actually say it out loud.
Oh, okay. Well, at the time, I didn't know. I mean, we were kind of just climbing and focusing on that.
But I don't like he rolls it back to the first clip. It's like, I don't see that say anything.
Oh, I can read any writing.
But that's
anything
not writing.
Written. Well, it was a message communicated in symbols on a surface, I suppose. I don't really know how it all works.
Okay.
But it seemed to be, it ended up being from what I can only imagine is some kind of phantom, some sort of creature that lives in the space between the doorway into and out of the dungeon. We've met it a couple of times.
Oh, okay. Let's backtrack here. And like he definitely looks flummoxed. So
I don't know. My teammates seem to want to get with it quite a bit. It did make some awesome selfies, but apparently it's.
Whoa! Selfies?
Yeah, I'll bring them up on my phone if they even show up. I remember I got the cool one where like I was in focus and it was.
Yeah, the totally there. You know, you see the the dark robed figure with the two lamp like eyes. Stands pretty tall. And this was in the dungeon.
It was between the dungeon and the exit. But it looked like maybe some kind of pocket dimension. I'm not familiar with all this technological stuff.
Between the exit and the dungeon, it's an archway. Like you walk through when you're on the outside.
Yeah, I think there's some sort of misaligned runes that transport people. It might be causing those time anomalies. We were in there for quite a while, like maybe an hour. Really strange stuff.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Hey, I'm actually pretty good at those. 11. Oh, but I got my talisman. 13. Let me check off one of my things here.
You're not playing some kind of joke. Did George put you up to this?
Who's George?
George is one of the other orange shirts that you guys have met that he kind of seems a little bit higher up the chain.
Yeah, I know. I would have actually Tabitha would have said that. Do I look like a joking? That's not my brand. Do you even follow your contestants on social media?
No, because you can't really post anything.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, right. I take that back. I wouldn't have been doing that. NDAs.
Yeah, I don't tend to do a whole lot on social media.
You're better off. It's pretty swampy out there.
A lot to do with this whole gig. You know, there's 6 teams, 4 people. That's 24 people to kind of look after and help out, and only so many of us are in shirts.
Yeah. Hey, do I know? Does Tabitha have any idea of like, and keeping in mind she's like going out of her way to not really pay attention to stuff, but like, do I know any sort of like what the organizational structure of this is as far as like the controllers and how far down like Bill might be on that chain and stuff?
You know that Bill is pretty low on the totem pole, but like in regards to,
he's like the head orange shirt.
Yeah, the head orange shirt for this level. You know that George is higher up than him. You've had one conversation with him, and George would be like the main leader of the orange shirts.
Okay, but I like this guy. He was the first one I met. I'm gonna lean over and be like, I gotta be honest with you, Bill. I really don't even know what's going on. I mean, the controllers might be rigging things, or a contestant from another season is altering things and causing those glitches. I'm here to win fame and fabulous prizes.
All right, so this is an awful lot. Would you mind kind of giving the rundown on what you found? Because like I was just kind of, we had this anomaly here, and like he kind of like while he's talking, he's been on his data pad, and it looks like he's been in communication with somebody. You can tell because every once in a while it'll buzz or vibrate a little bit.
Right.
Letting him know that there's another message. But clearly, he tells you that there was just this moment, like these two things. All he was trying to get from you was like, I can't put this footage on the air because it doesn't make sense. And you've dropped this like big bombshell of like,
hey, it's episode 9, man.
There's totally,
Yeah, I'll say, look, I'd love to help you, but honestly, my entourage knows a lot more about what's this stuff than me.
Okay.
I mean, my teammates.
Sure. Do you think like all of you would be willing to sit down with George later today?
I don't know. Do you think you'd all be willing to sit down with George later today?
Is he supposed to be telling them all of this? I mean, is she supposed to be telling them all of this?
Freddy just
Oh.
bobs up and down in a nod.
Okay. Let's say 3:00. If you guys could all come back and give me the full rundown as to all of this, because yeah. So go
Hey,
ahead.
this could be good for a promotion for you, maybe.
Go ahead and make an insight check for me there, Tabitha.
Sure. Ooh, not bad. 16.
Yeah, this dude is like freaking out and doing their best to compose themselves.
Okay, well then I will try to be calm and be like, hey, look, if this is some big thing, this could be your chance to, maybe you just tread carefully, tread lightly if you don't know what's going on.
Sure.
Who knows? I would be wary of telling your superiors about it. I mean, if there's some big conspiracy, they might not like the whistleblower. Maybe we should just keep this between us,
No, like that's at this point in time, like everything we've said so far has already kind of gone to George, so he's aware. I just want to, and he just kind of holds up the data pad, and you can
sure.
see a string of messages.
Sure. Well, hey, take it easy, Bill. I'm gonna go get a cup of coffee.
Sure.
It's all gonna be fine.
So Ben will take you back to the locker room.
Great. I'm pleased by his.
He like starts a sentence and trails off as he kind of like wanders in the other direction.
It's fine. It's all gonna be fine, Bill.
So back in the locker room, as the three of you kind of watch on, David's vid screen, as Freddy is sitting there watching Tabitha just unveil all of this secret writing, archways, the code in the machine, the creature that's living out there, some kind of, I don't know if the controllers are doing something.
So yeah, when I walk back in, I'm like,
no, I want their reactions at that moment as he begins to spill the beans.
Nebula, Burke, are we gonna get thrown off the show?
Poop.
I don't see how we could. We didn't do this.
They don't know that. I don't see how we couldn't.
Well, considering that he now knows what a lot of what we know, and I would like to pull out my mobile device and start scrolling because I'm a fan of the show, right? So I'm immediately looking for anything that could be like wronged, like with the previous teams, because since she explicitly mentioned it could be a team from a previous season, they would know where to go to hide that information. So basically now I'm trying to beat them to the punch of finding it.
Sure.
Because this was something I was going to do later, and now I'm just doing it now. I am not trained in technology. I'm not super good at this. I'm probably muttering so that Nebula can vaguely figure out what I'm doing as I'm doing it.
So go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Okay. Investigation. I get a +1. So let's see what I roll here. Oh, that's not great. I got a 3 + 1. That's a 4.
So, you're able to find, things from different teams and stuff that's mentioned about the show, but, nothing winds up coming up with any kind of clues or nothing incriminating. You definitely see a variety of different fun teams. I want to say that we're on season 7 of the show. I don't know if anybody has better notes than my memory off the top of my head.
I didn't even. Did that come up?
I believe it was mentioned at one point in time, like that this is not.
I don't remember what it was.
Not.
I would say you're the expert. If you say 7, it works for me.
Just remembering.
Yeah. Our continuity experts will catch that, I'm sure.
I don't know who our continuity expert is.
Yes, we have a vast empire of back here.
All right. Well, I apparently did not write it down, so I'm going to say that we are on season 7. Now, it was established that there's been events that have happened in the past and what have you. It's been a popular show for a number of years, so yeah, we're going with that. So, you know that in season 6, the Flumphs and Black Razor's Revenge wound up, appearing. But all you can do is confirm that which you guys had already figured out previously.
Yeah. Oh, darn it. Pope. I'm not finding anything.
What were you looking for? I didn't know you were looking.
I just realized since she now revealed that it could be somebody from a previous season, if there's anyone involved in the actual higher ups of this, they would know where to go to cover stuff up. And they're probably deleting as we speak.
Oh, that was
Message boards, fan sites, all that business.
That's some pretty quick thinking there, Burke. I'm just wondering if we're going to get thrown off. Hey, what did you find? I whispered to Nebula.
I don't think we're going to get thrown out. And if they try, we do some fast talking. It'll be okay.
What did you find in the,
Oh, I proceed to send you the emails.
Ooh. Do you know how to anonymously leak this one?
Do I? Keep that in your back pocket. It could be useful for leverage later.
Oh, I want to get him thrown off now. Second place, my ass. The one email that was different than the others, that definitely seemed like a violation of the NDA.
Oh yeah. Like the couple wound up like alluding to hey, something cool might happen. Sounds more like inside scoop, but like there's enough speculation as opposed to out and out saying. The one email is totally sent. There's no way to know who that is. Well, I mean, there might be a way, but like it doesn't have a name associated with it, and it's not like Jimmy Bob at Yahoo. It's random character string at some bizarre.com.
I wonder if I can trace that email address back to a person. Not right now, obviously. We're doing more important stuff right now, but just as a thing for later.
There are some layers there. It is entirely possible for you to do, but based on what you're looking at, that it would be incredibly difficult.
So I'll, set aside maybe 5 hours tonight after we get back from what we're doing now.
Sure.
Okay.
So by the time Tabitha comes back, you guys have had some time to discuss. There's been some commingling. Everybody has come down to some degree. Some people have gone back up and into their rooms. There's been some interaction, but Tabitha returns. Ben gives a wave, kind of pulls out somebody else to kind of go and talk to, to take apparently, other people have meetings too.
Oh, really? That means strange things happen to other people as well that they couldn't explain.
So what are you guys doing?
So do we notice that other people are going to the meetings, or is it just that Tabitha noticed?
Anyone trained in perception would see it, yeah.
What if you have a +5 to your passive but aren't trained?
Wait a minute, those dirty sons of bitches. They've been getting snuck away to talk to the AI too. Which people got taken to meetings?
So when Tabitha comes back, uh, you see Annalise, the elf from Shining Unicorn.
Ted.
Yes.
Bill was conducting the interview, but George was listening in. Yes.
That is what Tabitha is able to provide if she does.
Oh, we were watching the whole time. We heard him say it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because Bill turned the device around and said that George knows everything, and you can see that there was a.
Which means that there's a camera in the room while that's going on. Yes.
Oh no.
Maybe not.
Oh,
he was typing a message.
He was messaging with the.
Okay, but that was still being sent electronically.
Yes.
So, can I get those logs maybe?
You want to try and hack the device remotely for the people on the show that you are on?
Yes.
What could possibly go wrong?
Over on.
Hey Ted, how long was I gone from the time Bill came to get me to
Probably a 5-minute walk in each direction, 20-ish minute conversation.
Okay.
So going about a half hour.
Okay.
Does that sound about right given all that you
Yeah. I was just scheming.
Sure.
As players do.
Of course. I fully expect it.
How can I get myself into hot water? But what were you doing, Nebula?
I'm not doing it yet, actually. Can one of you nick somebody else's cell phone for me?
I don't think that's any of our specialties.
None of us are pickpockets. It's not a thing that any of you do. And so you're like always wanting to do criminal shit. Are you sure?
Yeah,
what
like
are you trying
give people
what
food poisoning. I'm a chef.
Am I allowed to use an aside here?
Sure. What do you want to do?
So I felt like after antagonizing Nebula for Seraphina, I tried something to maybe get in her good graces. Not sure. And I want to have tried to have swiped her phone at some point, like when she came in to talk to her and was distracted by her.
All right. So you want to try and steal Seraphina's phone?
Yes.
All right. This is going to be a high DC.
Okay.
You want to make a sleight of hand check?
Okay. I'm decently
brought us to
dexterous.
this hell.
19 plus 2, 21.
Wow. All right. You totally snag it.
Okay. So when she's saying that, I'll be like, so I'm not very proud of this, but and I just produced Seraphina's phone.
Oh, you should be so proud of this. I want to do it from her device.
Great job, Burke.
So, Burke, I need you to make a perception check.
Oh Lord. 16 plus this is a check, right? So I don't get my plus 5. So it's just 16 plus 3, so 19.
So as you swipe the phone, you kind of like look around, and you happen to catch the eye of Zarosrab, and you totally know that she saw you swipe it.
Okay. You know what? I'm okay with this. I will mention it to Nebula. I'll be like, so I'm pretty sure the spider lady watched me take it though, too.
Oh, that absolutely will not do, because then she could speak up and let them know that we had the phone if I get caught doing this through the spoof.
I mean, it's not technically against the rules because sabotage happens on the show, and I'm kind of a fan.
I could always ask Craig for a burner.
I mean, I could also, and I want to like make sure there's no cameras watching. I'll just like whisper in her ear and be like, I could also say that you wanted it because you have a crush on her.
Oh, I'm not willing. Not willing.
Do you have a crush on her? And I like
No.
roll my eyes at her.
Okay, listen. I'm very particular. Like, very particular. Like, if you're over 5 foot, it's not gonna do it for me. Particular. Are we clear?
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Anyway.
So you like Az.
No.
You don't like ass? Fine for
Who
you.
you dislike Az?
I'm going to hand you Seraphina's phone. No, I'm not going to hand you Seraphina's phone. I'm in this. I need to commit. I'm not going to get caught. This is just a safety net. This is fine. I just want to know what they were talking about.
All right. So are you just trying to get in, or are you trying to get in undetected?
I'm trying to get in undetected.
Okay.
That's going to be a total of 29 because I rolled a 19 and have expertise in technology.
Suddenly rolling super well as a party.
So
When it counts.
you think you got in, without any kind of trace, and it basically looks, if you're looking at that specific message, you can always trail backwards and see if there's anything else. But the messages back and forth between Bill and George seem almost like a word for word transcript, just inserting some expletives and like, what the flip is this guy what is this person talking about? But it's spilling all of there's some kind of AI or creature living in the program. The controllers, might have a problem. There's apparently hidden messages inside our programs. I really don't know what to do here. We've already had, these incidences, these accidents.
I was looking for what he was talking about with the representative from Shining Unicorn.
Oh, you want to know that?
Yes.
Oh, my apologies. I thought you were trying to look at what happened.
Oh, yeah, no, I had guessed everything you were telling me about what he was talking about with Tabitha. Like, I need to know what the other team knows.
Sure. All right, so you get in and you start getting in. So you wind up, seeing. So first, there is the inquiry about, when Shining Unicorn was kind of lost within the program itself. They talk, we went into, and he describes the same light show that you guys saw when you had gone into the arch. He mentions that the Chimera team mentioned something about a rune that was misaligned or changed. Apologies, trying to.
So were they just asking about the stuff we already know about then?
So it goes into that, but then they begin asking some other questions. Something about caves. That some people had some anomalies there. And then so it kind of goes back and forth, and a handful of things. The elf just is like, no, I don't know anything about that. It looks like George is at this point in time feeding him the questions. Because like it'll pop up, and then there'll be a delay, and then there'll be like the response winds up getting typed in. But it asks, did you encounter some anomalous entity or creature? And the elf says yes.
Ooh. Okay. Well, in that case, I think that's our go-ahead to go ahead and bring this up to the whole group. We need to have a group discussion about this because we're not the only ones this is happening to. I hand Seraphina's phone back to Burke. I'm like, put that somewhere where she will find it. You didn't take it. She misplaced it. Yes?
Well, except is it Zisrab?
Zasrad.
Zasrab saw it.
Yeah. Yeah. But she won't have any reason to go asking Zosrab if she finds her phone and it's in one piece.
That doesn't mean Zasrab won't tell her.
Oh,
Are we all in the room? Am I there now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Zasrab still in the room?
Yep.
I'm gonna look over at Zasrab and be like, just like, like it's cool. It's cool, right?
I don't think we're having this discussion
if
in
they
the
Oh yeah, no, we would not be having this discussion like in the room with
common
everybody. We
room.
would have
Yeah.
like.
Can I try to pick it back in her pocket?
What if we
First
plan it?
pickpocket?
If we plan it on Zessarath?
Well, that
Okay,
wouldn't be
no. Look.
Yeah,
That's
let's
malicious.
try and plant pocket on the rogue who saw you do it.
cool. I
And
mean,
that's
if you want to
not-
pocket it on Az, that's one thing, but
Listen.
Zasrab's cool, man.
Let her find her phone. Do not try to put it back in her pocket. Just let her find her phone and think that she misplaced it. We'll have the group discussion and then we'll talk to Zosrab. Okay, like we'll talk to her and make sure she doesn't say anything. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Or
Can I
simpatico.
set the phone
Talk to
slightly
her.
near where she was when she was in the same room, like when we were all eating pancakes and whatnot?
Like underneath
that
her
would-
chair.
That wouldn't be hard to do.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Sure. I mean, like there's
Hopefully stealthily.
there's the collective common area beyond just the tables where like you guys typically eat at. There is like couches and lounge space. So, I mean, you could very easily just like, I'm gonna go sit on the couch, and you just palm it, you put it down, you let it kind of like slink in between a couple of couch cushions.
It's like a dorm.
Sure, I'll do that.
You've got enough common space that 24 people can kind of chill and relax without all being on top of each other. It's a pretty big common room.
All right, I will do that.
All
Do
right.
they have a pinball machine in the common room?
If you think there should be a pinball machine in the
Hell
common room,
yeah.
there's totally a pinball machine in the
I
common
know
room.
what I'm doing in my downtime now.
But none of us is a wizard.
You should see me on a pinball machine. I say to people.
Oh, you're one of those warlocks. I see.
Oh my god.
So just give me a sleight of hand check and see what you get
Okay.
for placing. it.
Nerdarchy dice, don't fail me now.
You've got the inspiration.
I'm going to use my inspiration because I got a 2.
I feel like by calling on the dice to not fail you.
They're like, F you. I'm gonna kill you. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. They're sassy.
So 2 is my advantage.
So you rolled a 2 both times.
I rolled a 2 and a 1.
Okay, so can I like are we allowed to stack these? Can I give him my inspiration?
Absolutely.
Take it.
Oh good. Oh good. Okay. Can you see it?
I can as a glare.
It's another natural 1.
Oh my god. All right,
Man,
I
those
guess this
dice
was
suck.
just meant
Don't
to be
ever
a
use-
disaster.
No
Let's
one
go.
ever uses
those dice.
Complications.
2 is my advantage. I got a
Bring
2
it on.
plus 2, 4.
So there's probably like 2 or 3 close calls, and they think together, and then it like finally sets it down.
No, so-
Zasrad's just like looking at you the whole time.
No, you go, and you've got the thing, palmed and ready to go. It's in your hand. You're ready to just slide it into the couch. You totally trip. You fall. The phone goes, careening across the floor, and it spins, lands directly at Seraphina's feet.
All of a sudden, my
Oh.
blabbermouth's not looking too bad.
she's in conversation, with Raziel, the Asimar, and she looks down past Raziel and sees her device, like shakes her head, looks down again, and just slow pan as her eyes travel the distance to see Burke lying, flat on your face, hand outstretched. Clearly, you just dropped this thing.
So can I come up behind Burke, give him a hand up, and be like, look, he found your phone and didn't want you to make a scene. Look, let's be honest, you're absolutely the kind of person that would make a scene.
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh my.
I'm not as good at this as I am at the things I have expertise in, and there's a reason I don't go out of my way to do those things. Oh, but that's still going to be a 19.
So she looks from Burke to you. Is this another one of your games?
I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that.
Burke, were you trying to leave her a special picture on her phone? That's totally not cool, man.
Totally not cool.
So she totally is ignoring Burke at this point in time, and she is just looking at you. Were you hoping to find something on there of mine? First you have this dalliance last night, and now it's my phone? What's next? I mean, it's...
Like, internally sighing because I know I'm going to have to commit to this now, and I hate it. All right, look. I might have been tempted to leave you in an appropriate picture, but I didn't. I controlled the...
Well...
But, I mean, really, can you blame me? Have you looked at you?
Oh, believe me, dear, I do. Well, no harm done. I mean, I know I stole your career and all.
Oh, man. Savage burn.
As long as the phone is fine, there'll be no issues. And she picks it up, checks it.
You might find it running better than it was when I took it in the first place, honestly.
But without the typical Serafina blow up, without any of the fireworks that could have possibly happened, she puts the device back in her pocket and continues her conversation.
Can I make an insight check to see if she's into me?
Sure.
I'm dying here.
This is your
Like 14.
She's pretty well guarded. It could go either way. You're not sure.
Well, this is Nebula, so she's pretty convinced that she does at this point. Ego will do that to ya. Anyway, we're gonna need to get everyone together to have a group meeting at some point. Can you guys just let everybody know? I need wine. I go into the kitchen. I'm done.
Day drinking. Nice.
I'm not sorry. If you would like to join me, Tabitha, you are more than welcome.
Yeah. That was my enthusiastic voice.
I couldn't tell.
I'm curious to hear more about that crazy dream you said you had too. That sounds really bizarre.
I will tell you all about it over wine.
Yeah, there you go. Rosé.
So are you guys legitimately trying to have a, all hands on deck meeting?
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm not even lying. I love the emojis in the chat.
All right, I guess we're doing this.
Fire, oh my gosh.
Was it Gloomy? Did Gloomy do that?
This Fraginator.
Oh, hi, Frags.
Yeah, Frag said stop rolling like me to me.
Sorry, Frag, you're not in this game. Somebody's got to.
The mantle has been taken up.
I'm so sorry I stole that mantle. I do not want it.
Take it back. Take it back.
I'm like Miles Morales. I just don't want this mantle.
Take a leap of faith, Stephen. Be fine.
So after a bit of time, it takes a little bit of convincing. I'm not going to make anybody roll, but all 24 of you are gathered. Everybody's had lunch at this point in time. Chef Bob and Enzo, are able to offer up quite a bit of fun stuff.
I loudly say, I don't want Chef Bab's food. He burns everything.
This is not what we're here about.
Those are grill marks, and it's
That's a very large grill that covers an entire sandwich.
So Tristan, kind of speaks up and is like, all right. So what is this all about? We've had a handful of people, being carted away by orange shirts. We've got, and he kind of like throws up the air quotes, rival teams saying, hey, let's have a meeting. I know there's been some weird stuff going on that some people have encountered, and there was a whole idea of kind of like talking and sharing, and then nobody was talking and sharing. So I kind of thought
That's what this is about.
Okay.
If I might.
Sharing is
I'll go first.
I say.
So I will stand up. I will start pacing the room. I will get into like very much stage presence mode as I'm telling this story. I'm like talking about like the messages that were in the thing. I will talk about the AI that we've talked to twice now, and that I have it on good authority that we're not the only ones that saw it. So, those of you who did, it's a good time to come forward and talk about what you talked about. I'm going to go over what we talked about with the AI and then make it a point to be like, we don't actually know that this entity was being honest with us. This is just, all we know is that this is what this thing wants us to think. So, who's next?
So Raziel steps up and looks from Anleith to Seraphina and to Tabitha. It's like, look, we encountered an interesting creature in a dark robe, stood a head taller than most, although we could not ascertain any features. So that something was going on, and to ask questions, we didn't really know exactly what to ask, but said that we wanted this to just be a fair competition, and it eventually just dissolved on us.
Was that thing trying to help us in the competition?
I don't
Was it
think
trying
so.
to help you in the competition? I never got that impression. Did you? I don't know.
No.
Nothing about its interaction seemed to be giving us any kind of
Aid, assistance.
Did not warn us as to what the next challenge was, or
Right.
tricks to overcome certain foes. It seemed to only be concerned about these anomalies.
Mm-hmm.
Corson from the Flumps stands up. It's very nicely dressed half elf. It's a necklace about his waist, a handful of fancy rings that he only seems to wear on the off days. We too saw this anomalous creature. Describes it exactly the same way you saw it and the same way that Raziel described it. Asked about these crazy things that have transpired, like some of you, and points out towards some of the other teams that during your last conversation hadn't really encountered the anomalies. We said that we had not seen anything out of the ordinary. Didn't understand what it was doing. We're looking to just win. And he sits back down.
Anyone else?
Memory stands up. We too encountered this interesting anomaly. It is a far cry for our team to have any chance to achieve victory, though the Librum Arcanum is much more interested in the tech and magic of such a place. And we're here merely to enjoy ourselves and study at the same time. Yes, memory is on Gibbering Mouthers.
Oh, okay.
We found it intriguing to speak to such a program, but were baffled by its limited response scenario. After a fashion and no direction towards a set end, the program ended and we were able to depart.
I tried to hack it. I got a good look at its insides. Remind me to get with you after this meeting and I'll tell you what we found. That way we can compare notes. But
If the Warforged had eyebrows, they would definitely be up.
what?
It's incredibly intrigued.
Oh, yeah, cool. So it's been more than one team. Like, a lot of us have made contact with this thing. We know that we weren't imagining it. This has been ongoing, and apparently whatever this entity is, it thinks it's going to continue happening. And what we've managed to figure out is that it's also convinced that probably someone in this room had something to do with it. I'm not convinced by this, but if it was one of us, can we all agree that if they come forward now and stop, we can just get on with it and not worry about it? You know, we can close ranks, we can protect whoever it is.
So memory, kind of, still almost like still having the floor, didn't sit down. Why would anyone be responsible?
I don't know, and I don't think that they were. Like, I seriously doubt it. I think that this is somebody else, and that whatever this entity is a red herring, if you will.
Interesting.
But I want to know. Like, at this point, it's less about the competition and more about the fact that there's this mystery in front of me. There's this hole in my perception of the logic of what's going on, and I need the answer. I need to know.
And what happens if you don't get it? What if it's not something that can be ascertained?
Then it's going to plague my sleep for the rest of my life.
There is a slight giggle from across the room.
Seraphina? Yeah, kind of like you. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like, I can't be the only one who really wants to know what's going on here. I mean, honestly, I've had a lot of interesting things happen to me, but this is probably the most interesting thing that ever has. It's got the showrunners baffled.
So, Kapath from the Displacer Beast steps forward. We did not see any anomalous creature within the dive, within the dungeon delve.
Okay.
The concept from the beginning was to seek victory. There are a handful of teams that kind of stand a chance. Right now, we're not it. Points towards Serafina, who kind of seems to ipso facto has become the team leader. Points towards the Flumps. They haven't really set a team leader, but he points towards the half elf that was just speaking, and then points towards yourselves. Only 2 runs left. It appears you 3 are the ones that are really looking to have a real shot. Maybe they'll do something to up the points for the rest of us. But he points towards Black Razor's Revenge and the Gibbering Mouthers. No offense, my friends, but you've got way too many points to catch up. It's fun. It's enjoyable. Give it your all, and who knows? But we still wish victory. I don't know what these weird things are that some of you have seen and done, but it is far too crazy, and I care not for these kinds of mysteries. I revel in the things that are going on. The moment, the now. You sit and worry about these things. You fixate. It's like a growth that you wish to get rid of.
Someone actually died. Someone actually died, and the people that are making the show don't have what they need to figure it out. Don't you think that we should at the very least know why? Don't you think that at the very least we need to understand like what exactly it was that happened that brought that about in the first place? Don't we have a duty to each other?
Well, I admire your loyalty. I admire your courage. Not certain it's placed all in the right bucket. And he kind of just like leans back and gestures towards his 3 comrades. This is where my loyalty is. We're not going to win, but we're going to give it our all, and we're going to try to make you work, make you work, make you work, pointing to the 3 teams.
And we'd be disappointed if you didn't.
What if the next person to die is beyond the clockers to bring back? What if it's you? Or one of your companions?
Well, if it's me, I hope the death was spectacular. And he just does like a, like he hops up, it's a satyr, so he's a bit short.
Yeah, that's
Or
right.
like totally hops up onto, one of the couches and bows with a flourish.
I'm like several glasses of rosé in, so listen, like,
How did the kobold
That's
die
a good
again?
word.
It wasn't really described, and that was not shared on any of the clips.
I would point out that the last death has not been shared, has not been shown, so it probably wasn't particularly spectacular.
wasn't it the Displacer Beasts team?
No, it's Black Razor's Revenge.
Oh, are they in the room with us?
Yeah, everybody's here.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we just
So,
ask him, hey, how did your companion die?
was it
Tabitha.
spectacular?
What?
There was a more sensitive way to put that.
Oh. How did your teammate stab?
No, it's okay. They got it
Oh.
at this point. The question still stands, and I apologize for the abrupt way that this came up.
So they kind of like all look to Jorgen. But it's the Goliath, Crumb, who winds up speaking. And he's always been a bit slow to speak. Really has not done much in the way of talking with any of the stuff that you guys have done. He's incredibly tall, incredibly strong. But he kind of like looks, and it's a bit unsettling as he looks down at the lot of you, and a single tear falls from his face. And he begins to describe, how during one of the runs, there were blade traps would typically be, a blade would pop out here and a blade would pop out there. So you could kind of like dance around. Now I'm giving you the short, or I'm giving you the description, but you have to imagine this is coming from a very slow mind and one who definitely seems emotionally touched until he gets to the point where he
Come on, Ted, make us feel it.
I did not have this prep, so I don't have a script ready. I apologize.
Come on, we want it through tears. Give it to us through tears. We want to feel the Goliath's tears. We want to see them.
But the blades like spring out from multiple directions all at once and just impale this little kobold body. And there was no question, there was no doubt in anyone's mind that with all the blades running through him, that there was any life left. And it was kind of there that a lot was lost.
I bring him a glass of rosé, like a big glass of rosé, because he's a Goliath. Like I use a normal sized cup and not a wine glass.
He takes it, but it's almost as if like he's stuck and he doesn't even, like, you put it in his hand and he just sits there and holds it, like not even remembering what to do.
I'm gonna pat his forearm.
I look the satyr dead in the eye. Doesn't sound so glorious to me.
Oh, that was good.
But perhaps, you might find a better death.
I just had a thought. This could be like issue 76 of the Dungeoneer. And I meet eye contact with Tristan. The dungeon was a mansion and there was a murder, but the murder was a distraction from what was really going on. What if all of the delays and all of the things were specifically targeted at the people who are most likely to notice what was happening? And then in the kerfuffle, the person was able to get away.
He gives a simple nod, food for thought, and then kind of like stands up and whispers something to Crumb. It's at that point in time that Grum realizes like he's still standing, and like kind of coaxed down slowly back towards the couch, and just downs the glass, and just kind of remains silent. Corson from Flumps stands back up. So what do we do? What information has been gathered that has not already been shared. How can we figure this little mystery out? How can we appease your mind? Again, pointing at Nebula. I mean, as the satyr said,
Appease my mind and secure safety for everyone else. Because I don't think anybody wants to be impaled from all directions. I don't think that's a thing that anyone here wants to go through. I don't think anybody wants to end up in that situation. So, yes, this is still all of our problem. I think we need to take this to the game makers. I think we need to get together and go to them as a group and explain what's going on and just let them know that we've been paying attention and we're not having it.
well, it sounds like some teams are not on board with the all or nothing. Some teams are looking for the win. Kind of smiles and says, we're currently in first. I'm not against working together to solve the problem and gestures around the room for everyone's safety. But I don't really know what good if we get 30 people in a room sitting there shouting, trying to figure something out.
We don't have to shout. It's not silence or absolute chaos. We can be organized about this. We can band together and say something without causing a big faff. That is possible. What you're suggesting is a false dichotomy. That is a logical fallacy. Do you know this?
I'm well aware of the terms that you are saying. I was just merely saying that when we begin trying to point fingers and when we try to things that are in the chaos, if we don't have all of the pieces, if we don't have all of the clues.
That is exactly what this is about. They know things that we don't, that they are not sharing with us. We go to them. We ask them to tell us. We ask them to give us more information. We find out what they know.
And do you really think that they're going to provide those things?
If all of us go, if we band together and do this as a group, then yes, I do.
I've had the pleasure of being on this show before. It was fun. Did not have any of this. Oh, the locker room was meant for petty squabbles and saying how we did it better than you, and that our monster was easier than yours, or however which way it went. It's tedium, but it was all for the show, all things to add drama. And
I mean, you guys have gotten some pretty easy monsters. I mean, that part's been pretty evident.
No,
well
consider,
done, well done. They trained you well.
Consider, though, that if we all stand together and do this, if we all take the same platform for just a moment, what a good story would that be? How good would that be for the cameras? How much would that entertain the audience that this was going on, and instead of letting it divide us, we all took the same route?
Really
It's
think?
bloody inspiring.
Do you really think the people who watch this show want heartfelt and inspiring?
I think if we earned it, yes. And I think that we absolutely have with everything that's happened up until this point.
I think they'd prefer the room where everyone's screaming and yelling at each other, maybe
I don't
stabbing.
know. People do seem to like those those connecting human stories. I mean, for instance, we've got a tragic figure who was brought back to life and went on to become an unkillable swords person competing. We've got a pull them up by your bootstraps pop star who's down on her luck and just trying to prove her name again. We've got a guy trying to save his family farm. I'm like hamming it up because I'm drunk and there's cameras also here. And, a competitive chef just trying to prove himself in the fast-paced world of culinary,
Yes,
Listen.
well done, Jorgen fellow.
Yeah.
I don't know, Burke. What do you feel? What do you think? You're a fan of the show. What do you think? What would you want to see?
I'd want to see. I don't know. I don't think I'm a typical fan of the show. I'd want to see everybody be okay. personally. Like, at the end of the day, Nebula's right. Yeah, the Cloctors are there and they can rise you back and all that, but that doesn't mean it isn't terrifying in the moment. That doesn't mean that Crag isn't traumatized forever.
From
Like,
Kobold.
Was it Scrap? It was Skick. Wasn't that the person's name that died?
Skip.
He
That's-
was a
I
kobold,
see
though,
he was
right?
the one who died.
oh, Skick. Sorry, I got the
He was a
Kobold.
kobold, though, right?
Yeah.
I feel like
Okay.
Burke would have gotten that right though. So
Yeah,
I was actually, I was as a player. I didn't. I was,
yeah.
My
No,
notes are very,
it doesn't mean that somebody wasn't traumatized. Like, here's the thing. We like to watch this show because it gives us a thrill of escape, but it's also a reality show and it's reality. And that means that whatever consequences happen here are real. And so if we band together and actually prove that people who come from different places who maybe are pitted against each other can come together for a common cause, maybe just maybe that'll bleed over into, the fans and their lives. And maybe it is just a silly show, but maybe this one silly show can make a difference for somebody somewhere. That's my thought. But what do I know? I'm a simple farm boy.
All right, so go ahead and make a persuasion check there, Burke.
Okay. Nerdarchy dice. I'm gonna use them because they're really nice and they're metal and they're super cool and red and I love them. Okay.
Love them so much.
Yes. All right. Okay, not terrible. I got a straight 14. Oh, no, that's perception. Sorry, 14 plus 0. Yeah, straight 14.
So, Shining Unicorn, they kind of look to each other, and nothing is being said, but it's clear that they're all just kind of eyeing each other, and Annalith stands up. He gives you the nod.
get a slow clap.
Black Razor's Revenge kind of do the same. They kind of put their heads together, at least, the three of them.
Shh.
Crumb just kind
I think
of
Dave fell asleep.
sits back. Tristan steps up and, he kind of gives a nod. The Flumps, they just kind of walk out, as does the Displacer Beasts, heading back towards their rooms. But Memory doesn't even look to the others as, he kind of does the same.
That's fine. I gotta respect the fact that they're not giving in to the peer pressure. That said, I will make sure to let them know as they're walking out. Like, it doesn't matter if you're not with us. We're gonna fight for you anyway.
Kapas is the last one, and who, he gives a very theatrical bow. Almost like comically so, as his curly Q horns come down towards the carpeted floor.
I keep forgetting that guy's a satyr. I'm glad you're putting those little things in because it's like in my
but he gives the bow, and it's not mocking. It's not meant to thumb your nose up. It's just is what it is. Team has decided. So in our last couple of minutes, the couple hours go by. You guys are able to kind of talk amongst yourselves, decide what information you wanted to share, what information is shared with you.
This is before going to meet George.
And when you go to your meeting with George, do you give a different story than what Tabitha told, or do you put everything on the table? Do you try to get all the other three teams to come with you? Or is it just the 4 of you?
Oh yeah, no, let's bring the other teams with us and let's put all the cards on the table. I'm like here for it. Like let's all in. All in.
All right. So you divulge all of this information. Some of the other team members that are there.
Wait, real quick, this is impacting. Sure. So not everybody went with us?
The Displacer Beasts and the Flumps stayed behind.
Okay. Then I'm going to cast Mislead, and the illusory me will go with them, and I will hang out in the common room invisibly. It lasts for an hour, and it's just an action to like switch back and forth. So whichever one I'm controlling, I can see and hear and talk through.
Okay, never mind. Then you don't need a camera. You're good.
Nope. Whatever. So I want to listen to what they talk about while we're
sure. So, I mean, I did say that they went up to their rooms.
Well, I'm just gonna. I just wanted to cast that down.
Of course, man. You use the cool spells, and sure. We'll see what winds up transpiring.
You can go listen in on them while they're in their rooms.
That's creepy.
So you share
I should totally
information that you've collected so far. Some of the other team members are rather shocked at everything that's being told. You learn that others have collected some kind of information, but nothing that's really giving you any more clues. But you are seeing that some teams have encountered some of these things. You get a bit more about some of the deadlier traps that were avoided, so there could have been some more deaths that subverted. Had it not been for incredible luck or incredible skill, might have been more than one. But who knows? But a lot of fun things are figured out. And George kind of takes all of this in, and he seems more composed than Bill was during the last thing. It's like, well, perhaps we can get to this in the next competition. We're going to try something new, and perhaps that will give us another clue.
I hope it's a battle royal. I really want to stab some of these other contestants.
And to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing the Mouthers and the Razors have some kind of shot at coming back too. Keep it even keeled the whole time.
So we go to, we go back to the locker room where once it's kind of quiet, the Displacer Beasts kind of come back down, and the 4 of them begin having a conversation. And the dwarf and the goblin, they seem to be having like a heated exchange.
Okay.
And the goblin
is Razine, is that the dwarf's name? Or
no, the dwarf is Thastorn.
Oh, that's another team.
That's Thastorn, Barrel Mace, and as Pabard.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, so the goblin bursts out, for the last time, I just need to know, I just need to make sure that she doesn't find out that I'm the one who killed her.
Ooh.
And that's where we're going to end.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, cool.
Wow. And I'm the only one that knows what that pertains to.
No. Oh, yeah. Right.
Are we all there for this?
No. He just means Enzo knows what.
Oh.
We weren't there. We don't know this conversation happened. Tabitha does, but Tabitha doesn't have the other information.
Yeah. I get to cast 2 spells I have always wanted to cast that I never have in 5e.
Oh,
You've checked them off the bucket
Yes,
list.
man. Yeah.
Well, thank
So-
you, Game Master Ted, for an awesome session.
Yeah, for real, man.
That ends session 9. We'll get to see exactly what happens with session 10 next week.
And maybe
As we
then we'll find
return.
out how Bob's done it all.
Get your springboard out, Enzo.
As we
It
return to
is.
some
It
more
is.
Dungeons and Delving. So thanks for tuning in. Catch us next week. Don't forget to stop by the description down below and check out that Kickstarter. Help out our friends over at Easy Roller Dice. Their products are amazing. I love their stuff. Use it all the time. And without further ado, until next time,
Stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy. Are we out?
Now we are.